In this episode, we'll discuss the 2017 film American Satan. American Satan is the basis for the 2021 spin-off series Paradise City that premiered on Prime Video. We will also touch on the Satanic Panic of the 1970s and 1980s. American Satan stars Andy Biersack, lead singer of the band Black Veil Brides, as Johnny Faust. John Bradley from Game of Thrones as Ricky Rollins. Film legend Malcolm McDowell as Mr. Capricorn. From the Twilight Saga, Boo Boo Stewart as Vic Lakota. Lead guitarist for the band Asking Alexandria Ben Bruce as Leo Donovan. From Sons of Anarchy, Mark Boone Jr. as Elias Collins. Denise Richards as Ms. Faust, Johnny's mother, and Jessie Sullivan as Lily Mayflower. Olivia Culpo as Gretchen, Johnny's girlfriend, and Sebastian Gregory as Dylan James, drummer of The Relentless. Asha Vildson, the founder and CEO of Sumerian Records and Sumerian Films, directed American Satan with the tagline Rock and Roll, where God and the devil shake hands. Taken from a quote by Neil Young. Rock and roll is everybody's fucking music. I would certainly hope that it's the devil's music, but it's not just the devil's music. I think that's where God and the devil shake hands, right there. American Satan is the story of The Relentless, an aspiring rock band, half from England and the other from the US, who all moved to Los Angeles to become famous. The band's vocalist, Johnny Faust, lives in Columbus, Ohio, with his mother and girlfriend Gretchen. After moving to Los Angeles, they hold auditions for a bassist and choose a mysterious woman, Lily Mayflower. The band meets two mysterious figures throughout the movie, Mr. Capricorn, played by Malcolm McDowell, and Gabriel, played by Bill Duke. These two pop up throughout the film to either provide guidance or temptation. While leaving a liquor store, Johnny and Vic encounter a homeless man, Gabriel, who tells them to rely on feeling more than perception. Moments later, the band is accosted by another man, Mr. Capricorn, who implies he is the devil and can make them stars if they perform a human sacrifice. Lily tells Johnny that her ex-band member Damien raped her the night she left the band. At the same time, Johnny learns his mother has breast cancer and cannot afford treatment. Damien insults Johnny's mother, so they decide to sacrifice Damien. They lock him in a van and set it aflame, but Johnny changes his mind and lets Damien out. Damien climbs an electrical fence and dies from electrocution. The Relentless get a record deal, and to give their first album an edge, they called it American Satan. The Relentless go on tour, and in Kansas, a bar fight results in the death of a man, and Johnny is arrested. He goes on trial and is acquitted. Johnny's actions inspire the Relentless fans to confront their bullies, leading to more deaths, all blamed on the band. During the band's rise to fame, Johnny and Gretchen try to maintain their long-distance relationship, but matters are complicated when Johnny and Lily sleep together. At the same time, Ricky overdoses on cocaine and dies. The shock from Ricky's death leads to Leo heavily using alcohol and pills. Gretchen dumps Johnny, and he turns to heroin and sex with Lily to try to cope. A fan's mother gets Johnny to take her teen daughter's virginity. He does, while Dylan has sex with the mother. They later learn that the girl's dad killed himself because of this. Johnny overdoses on heroin and almost dies, but is saved by a paramedic, the homeless man the group encountered outside the liquor store. Johnny goes to rehab. Lily refuses to go to rehab and disappears. American Satan is well received and tops the charts. The band performs more shows and receives a lot of adoration and backlash. American Satan shines with the music, and the music references include Sympathy for the Devil, Running with the Devil, and The Number of the Beast. The devil is a catchy gimmick. The Relentless land a gig at a music festival, but the devil says they have to kill a man during their performance, though he intends to make it look like part of the concert. The band is booming, and Johnny's mother receives treatment for her cancer, which goes into remission. Johnny tries to get back together with Gretchen, but she rejects him. I really wish I knew why I've done some of the things I've done over the years. Sometimes, I think that I'm possessed by some outside spirit. A few years ago, I was convinced of that. I thought I truly was possessed by the devil. Ozzy Osbourne. The night of the show, Lily returns. A moment later, the devil appears in the guise of Johnny's mother's new boyfriend, and when the band goes on stage and performs, Johnny takes the gun and first holds it to his head before shooting and killing the devil. While in prison, Johnny is visited by the Archangel Gabriel. He tells Johnny he has a choice in his future and to go with his feelings. Gretchen also visits him and tells Johnny she still loves him. She brings with her a lawyer, Damien's father. The lawyer gets Johnny off on a technicality. American Satan shows its strength in the music and performance of the cast. Though the film's low-budget shows, you can tell it's a labor of love for rock music and the lore behind rock and roll. If you're bored, and it comes on your streaming service, American Satan is worth a watch. So let's talk a bit about the Satanic Panic. The Satanic Panic is a moral panic consisting of over 12,000 unsubstantiated cases of satanic ritual abuse starting in the United States in the late 1970s and early 1980s, spreading throughout many parts of the world by the late 1990s, persisting today. The panic originated in 1980 with the publication of Michelle Remembers, a book co-written by Canadian psychiatrist Lawrence Poster and his patient and future wife, Michelle Smith. The book used the discredited practice of recovered memory therapy to make sweeping lurid claims about satanic ritual abuse involving Smith. The allegations afterward arose throughout much of the United States, involved reports of physical and sexual abuse of people in occult or satanic rituals. Around this time, the 1970s also saw a slew of high-profile murders, starting with Charles Manson in 1969 and the Zodiac Killer, John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, the Son of Sam, the Hillside Strangler, and Jim Jones. And that was just the United States. To many, it appeared as if the devil had come to earth. Coupled with this, at the same time, The Exorcist, released in 1973, showed the horrors of possessions following the release of Rosemary's Baby, released in 1968, which also showed the workings of a satanic cult. Again, the devil is a catchy gimmick. Around this time, Dungeons & Dragons was released in 1974 and was immensely popular. Concerned parents and church groups believed their kids pretending to be wizards and warlocks was the work of the devil, even though D&D has many character classes besides these two. Other groups saw the toy line, Masters of the Universe, also known as He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, as evil and would not allow their children to play with the toys. Some church leaders pointed to bands like Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Twisted Sister, and Kiss as signs of the devil's influence on young minds. We should note that many conservative groups said the same of musicians like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones, not to mention countless black jazz musicians in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. For several years, the country was gripped in fear of the occult. This hysteria continued into the 1990s with church groups crusading against the resurgent devil music, including the MTV, music television, cable channel that had taken the world by storm in the 80s. The panic finally burned itself out in the United States by the late 1990s, but not entirely. Embers of the fire can still be seen today. The story of the Relentless continues in the spin-off series, Paradise City, which we will cover before the release of Season 2. Thanks for watching.